3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years experience as a product manager. So please pay let's pay attention and let's pay attention very, very well so we can get as much as possible from the person that's coming to speak with us. So I would like to welcome Idowu Sodiq to come and um, make his presentation for us. Please, before it starts, let's make sure that we have with our books and bios and jotters and notepads or anything we want us to jot this call to make sure that we take we get the best as possible. And if we have questions, let's make sure that we write it down during the course of the workshop. So it's going to start with us now. Those are the
All right, I'm sorry, I was trying to meet myself. So I thank you, Abdulhamid, for that brief introduction. I mean, I'm very excited to be here. It's something I really love to do. When it comes to talking about product, career, applications, accessing opportunities is something I find really interesting. And it's also like a great pleasure having to be on this call. It's quite, you know, sad we have quite some low numbers on the call currently. We have friends who would love to be part of this session. We could still, share across to them the invite link so they could be a part of this call. But mind you, also we have this session currently being recorded. So for those that couldn't join due to one or two, unforeseen circumstances, they can still get to, join later on. So let me pretty much dive into the conversation, and I would love to share my screen. Some minutes, please. Okay, please. Can anyone confirm if you can see my screen?
yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So thanks. So yeah, we want to talk about how you get to build a stellar product manager resume. And just for context, I know on the call we have some individuals who are not really product managers. You might be from different or varying professional background. It could be data analysis, product design, engineering. No matter your background, I mean, there's still a conventional approach towards best modern practices when it comes to building your resume. So you are right on track if perhaps you are not a product manager, or perhaps you have a passion to grow in the product management space. You're just trying to, transition in. I would ensure like I give context towards how you can, draft a resume despite, having no experience, or you have varying technical background. So yeah, here's pretty much the first page, and a brief of my bio. This is just specific to um, you know job applications. So I currently work at Bondo, leading the product ideation, and the Merito earlier, mentioned that. And the focus for today would be majorly around. Let me see if I can just put it on a slide view. All right. So we want to cover quite some important aspects. One, talk a bit about product management, the importance of having a strong resume, what are, things you need to consider while trying to apply for a job. What are the best practices when it comes to resume structure, resume writing tips, and how you get to like, project yourself to a recruiter that you are the best, person for the job. And lastly, we'll talk about some of the key skills you need to include and how you get to optimize certain keywords while trying to build your product manager resume. So also, it's also very important we speak briefly about who exactly is a product manager, and that will take me to the next slide. Product management to different company is very different, and this is something I've experienced over the past few years. Different companies, their idea or what they really need from a product manager, it's different across different companies. For a company, they are looking to hire someone who is really solid in terms of engineering background. they need someone that can work really closely with the engineers. So sometimes they're looking to hire a technical product manager. So you might do really little or less around, product marketing, growth, or trying to see how you could convert some of the features you've shipped out to, driving, revenue and all of that. You are just focused on working with the internal team. And for some companies, the space in which they want to feel when it comes to getting to AI product manager might be that they need someone who is very conversant with, growth marketing, who can, have a very solid relationship with the customers, talk to users, get feedback. So you need to also you have to know that for every company, what they define as product management might vary, although there are standard practices. So they are looking to hire someone who is a good fit, what they really want. So, but on a general context, product management is basically about, having to put on a thinking cap of a product designer. You can think like a business analyst. You have that ideation or design understanding of fundamentals. You know how to get the product out there when it comes to giving the best go-to-market strategy. So, but for a layman, someone who is just into the space, you are basically an individual that represents the company and the users in the sense that you are trying to ship products or features that would meet the customer's need and equally helping the company grow. For different companies, they might be at a growth stage. They want to achieve brand visibility. For some companies, they want to get profitable. For some companies, they want to just push something out there. So you are just that person that represents the company and the users, and it comes with having diverse skill sets. Now let's go to what exactly are the roles of a product manager, and these very important aspects are really critical when it comes to drafting a product management resume. So as a product manager, you need to, understand that every company has their, vision, and there's a product vision you have to work with. Product vision just, typically explains, the long-term mission of a product. So they are most times aspirational, and they communicate, the kind of destination of the product when it comes to where they want to see the, product go and the kind of value they want to offer in that market space. So as a PM, you need to understand the product vision clearly, and you are ensuring that whatever you are shipping out there meets, the requirement of that product vision. So also you have to, devise different means to ensure that the strategy is very clear, right from the objective, the go-to-market strategy, the requirements, and all of that. You should have a very strong sense of communication, how to communicate requirements to your designers, to your engineers, and those you get to work with. Because as a product manager, you get to work with a cross-functional team. And here, I mean people with varying professional expertise or technical expertise. You work with the QA engineers, the designers, the engineers. You should know how to communicate requirements with them clearly without back and forth. So here's a chart of, key duties of a product manager. You have to, be heavily engaged in product testing. Many a times I get, all hands with my designers and my QA guys to test product functionality, despite being a PM. So we do a lot of manual testing with the, designers. You have to know how to coordinate product launch. Here's the go-to-market strategy. You have to know how to track product performance. So there should be some key metrics you want to work with. So these are pretty much an overview of key duties of a product manager. And this would help you know what exactly are the things you need to put on your resume. Because when you are trying to apply for jobs, be sure that you don't want to get a recruiter, uninterested in your profile. So you want to put in the right words on your resume. Now, move to the next slide. We'll just take it. Coming. So, importance of a good resume. But before I really go to this, let me talk briefly about some of the misconception around a resume and a CV. Many a times these two words are used interchangeably. I want to confirm, can you hear me at all? Hope I'm talking to a set of people. Just someone.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, okay, good. So a resume and a CV most times are used interchangeably. While you are trying to apply for a job, they would ask you to upload your resume or or your CV. But they are two really different documents. They are two different documents. And in terms of purpose, in terms of the length, in terms of the content, and in terms of the outline of the sections, a resume differs from a CV. Pretty much an overview of a resume is it's a formal document that, in terms of length, you have to work with a page or a maximum of 2 pages. Senior product managers, lead product managers, head of product, group product managers, we see them maintain 2-pager resume. If you're a mid-level, senior level, you should have a pager resume. So resume are short in terms of length. So it's basically just focused on presenting a summary of your most relevant skill sets and work experience for tailored to a particular job opening. But when it comes to a CV is more detailed. Currently, my CV is about 5 to 6 pages. So it's a lot more lengthy than a resume. So a CV would definitely have sections like, so they are majorly used for, academic, or it majorly talks about your whole professional background. So it's an overview of your entire career, education, research, publication, awards, and lots more. You don't have these sections on a resume because you are basically just talking about how your experience relates to what you are trying to apply for. So in terms of purpose, there are also two very different things. A resume is something that are tailored towards job applications. You craft out a resume because you want to apply for a job, nothing more. But a CV, you are applying for, it could be, academic applications, it could be research positions, it could be for grants, it could be for fellowships. So in terms of purpose, they are also very distinct and different. Also in terms of content and, sectioning, they are, two very different, documents. And one other spotlight difference about a resume and a CV is that a resume mostly, you can have, several resumes. If someone who is job searching, you are, hunting for jobs, people make this mistake a lot of time. When you are trying to apply for jobs, you don't use a single resume to apply for multiple jobs. It's more like you are, placing a call to rejection. Oh, rejection, please, I've missed you. Can you come around? When you apply for multiple jobs using just one resume. So you need to have different resume tailored towards that opening in a company. As a product manager, if I want to apply for a role in an e-commerce firm, I need to tailor my resume to fit the context of e-commerce. If I want to apply for a fintech role, I need to have a fintech tailored resume. If I want to apply for a blockchain related PM role, I need to have a blockchain tailored resume. So I would have certain keywords that relate with blockchain technology on my resume. And but you can have just one CV. I mean, because it's an overview of your whole career experience, your professional work experience, your award, leadership, volunteering, all of that. It's all encompassing. So someone can have just one resume, but you can have multiple resume. You can have just one CV, but you could have multiple resume. I hope it's very clear when it comes to misconception around a resume and a CV. Now, why do you need to have a good resume? I highlighted just 3 major importance why you should have a good resume. The first thing is that it helps you stand out from the competition. Typically, we cannot relate to this. When you see a job opening on platforms like Indeed, platforms like LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn for one of these purposes. When you want to apply for a job on LinkedIn, you get to see the total number of applicants. For global jobs, it's highly competitive. Even though we have the same issue when it comes to applying for local jobs. Many a times I see a job opening probably 2 hours ago, and the next 3 hours you're seeing about 300 applicants. So you are trying to compete with over 300
We can't hear you.
applicants to miss. And you don't want to have them spend time reading irrelevant information about you. So you should have a tailored and a concise resume. So if you have one that is really good, it helps you start.
So network is breaking. So our speaker will be right back. Is experiencing some network issues. So in a few minutes, just 1 or 2 minutes or seconds, is going to be back here. So let's just wait a little. He has already joined back. In the meantime, while we are waiting for him to come back, he has said a lot of things, and I hope we noted the very very important things like you need to have different resumes tailored to different companies, the difference between a CV and a resume, and has covered all those parts. And presently, is talking about the importance of your resume. So if we have missed some things before, let's try and note down these few points that I just dropped so that we can, maybe if we not join early, we can ask some extra questions on it and we can get further information from it. And for our own personal research too, it's going to really, really help us. So it's going to be packed. So I just have some information to pass in the meantime. So we have noticed that on our social media we have low engagement at times. So every time we post something, let's try to like. If it's on Instagram, we can like, we can comment, we can post our stories. If it's on Twitter, let's um let's retweet it, let's like it. And if it's on our WhatsApp, let's post it on our status. These few ways are the ways that we can really encourage the people running this community because we are putting in a lot of effort to make sure that we deliver value from time to time. So okay, our speaker is back now. So
So sorry, I'm having some network issues. Sorry about that. Sorry, can anyone hear me?
yes,
Hello.
we can hear you.
All right. I had some network issue. Trying to share my screen back. I think I was talking about the importance of having a good resume, right? So I was pretty much talking about a good resume would help you stand out from the crowd because recruiters get to review multiple resumes and you want to be sure that you have a resume details that helps project you as the best or the right candidate for the job. Two, it's a personal marketing document. So the resume is the first point of contact with the employer, the hiring manager. So and there's a way recruitment work all around different companies. The first point of contact, and this is very important, we should really take note of because you need to understand that when you apply for a job, the first person that gets to review your resume is not the hiring manager. That would most likely be, let me say, your line manager. So if you're applying for a product manager and management role, your hiring manager would be probably the head of products or the senior product manager or the group product manager, as the case might be. It depends on the structure that exists in that company. So most times, the person that gets to receive your resume is the HR, not the hiring manager, the person that would give the final say of this is a good fit for the role. So HR will be the first person to review all resume, then now select some top applicants, then share with the hiring manager before you then get to the next phase of the interview. So you want to be sure that what you have on your resume is highly detailed for a non-technical recruiter to understand that, oh, this person profile looks quite amazing. I think the hiring manager would like this person. And two is that you have very little time to impress the recruiter. A recruiter most times would, review multiple resumes. Sometimes it might be a scale of over 100. Sometimes it might be a scale of over 200. When you see applications on LinkedIn, sometimes you see over 500 applicants for a particular role. Don't be surprised. The first, point of, sieving relevant applicants is not really going to be done by an HR. It will be done by a system called it's called applicant tracking system. So that ATS would be the one to like review automatically all resumes. So there would have been some priorities. It could probably rank it in terms of keywords. So we want to be sure that your resume has certain keywords that aligns with, the demand for that role. If you don't have those keywords in your resume, no matter your length or your years of experience, you will not be able to be among the top applicants. So you have little time to impress a recruiter. So don't focus too much on aesthetics. People will spend more time designing resume. People would go as far as using, Figma or certain, resume building tool like Novo Resume, Resume.io, and all of that. It's quite unnecessary. What matters most is the content. So you want to be sure that your resume is good enough to stand out of the crowd. It is well projecting, your achievements or your accomplishments. And three is that it's going to scale through the applicant tracking system. Now, the next slide. Now, I spoke about, who a PM is. I spoke about what a resume and what distincts a resume from a CV. Spoke about why you should have a good resume. Now, the next point of conversation is why you should understand job descriptions. Now, I said earlier that for different companies, what they are trying to look for in hiring a PM, it's different. And yeah, I might use the word PM, but you can relate it to your profession. You could either be a designer, you could either be a software engineer. Probably they are looking for someone with, vast knowledge in a particular tech stack. Probably someone with, Node or Next.js experience. So you want to be sure that you've gone through the job description and it's a good fit for you. For entry-level applicants, you might not really have, deep expertise in a particular field. So sometimes you just want to apply for entry-level jobs, which I doubt if that really exists. But that's not the point of conversation. The thing is, you have to understand the job description and be sure that it aligns with your experience and it aligns with your interests. Now, this is a typical associate product manager opening. They said they need 1 to 3 years of experience in handling software products. Someone that can drive and manage the delivery of product as directed by the product manager. So there's someone you are reporting to as an associate PA. They said you should be able to perform research, execute, and track product line strategy. Also, you should be able to ensure adherence to the product roadmap set by the PM. So every company would have a product roadmap. So it's a timeline of features they want to deliver over a certain period of time. Also, someone that could ensure commitment and track clear product success goals by the PMs. Now, there's a description of someone that can own and support product readiness across training and documentation. This is a very clear job description of a product manager. And believe me, if I want to apply for such a job, the first thing is that I need to have a resume template I work with, like something general that I can then optimize to fit into this job opening. I hope I'm really, making certain sense. I hope I'm communicating. I need someone to just please
Yes, you
confirm.
are.
All right.
You are
So
communicating.
you need to go through the job description and have the first thing as a PM. You need to have let me say PM, a job applicant. You need to have a resume template you work with that you can then optimize to fit into this job opening. If I want to come up with a resume for applying to this job, I need to be sure that my career summary would reflect, 2 years of experience handling products across various life cycles. Because here they said 1 to 3 years experience. Also, I want to talk about my experience in performing or carrying out market research, because it's amongst the requirement of things I would do if I eventually get in as a product manager. My keyword would also include things like, you know, you know, you know, building product roadmap. I would have keywords like, success, goals, drive, manage, these are certain keywords I can see from this opening. And when I'm trying to draft out that resume for this application, I would ensure that I tailor it towards this opening. Now, the next slide. A resume structure. I'm trying to see if I can just go a bit faster, because we need to review a real resume, and I'll probably highlight strategies for you to, drafting one. But this is typically a resume structure. First thing is that you need to put in major information about you. And the reason is this: I've applied for different jobs. I've been able to talk to various recruiters across different companies. And I'm saying this because, I've spent a lot of time, ample number of time applying for jobs, just exploring interviews. Sometimes I might even just have a job. I just want to explore. Okay, let me just, play around with recruiters. I'm not, in a tension to probably secure a job. I just want to explore what are the certain gaps that recruiters are looking for in the product space. And I observed a trend that most recruiters that would call, they don't send me a mail directly. They call me first times. When I say a strange number, I know it's a recruiter. There was a point that when I say I have a missed call and it's a number that I don't have saved on my contact list, and it's a recruiter, I'll just get to hear, hello, am I speaking with Sodiq? Yes, this is Sodiq. How are you doing? You applied for so. Oh, yes, I did. How are you doing? I'm fine. We just want to confirm what times work for you to schedule an interview with our, recruiter and all of that. And then I'll be like, if perhaps I drop the contact number that's inactive, I would have just lost that opportunity. So ensure that you put in your contact information. But foreign companies would not call directly. They would send a mail. But most typical Nigerian companies, I think our recruiters need to do better in terms of email communication. They are and that's why when you apply for jobs and you are not part of those that they are going to, go on with interview stage, they won't get back to you. You'll be like, wow, I applied, nobody got back to me. That's because those they want to really get on a call for an interview, they call them directly via phone calls. So be sure that you are putting active lines on your resume. So if you are someone that think that okay, they would have to reach out to me via mails, I'm sorry, you might never get an offer to talk to a recruiter. Put in your LinkedIn profile. We might want to discuss about having a separate session on how to optimize your LinkedIn, but at least let me still maintain the focus of resume. So put in your contact information, as important as your name, your email address, your phone number, your address. Also, when you're trying to put in your address, please don't put Aderongbe 12 Aderongbe Street, Jayekola Kinikon close, and no, please don't do that. Security purpose, it's very important you don't go too deep into your, don't describe clearly where you stay, because there are quite a number of scammers out there. And also is that as a recruiter, I might be looking to hire a PM for an hybrid role. And if where you told me that you stay, probably you stay somewhere on the mainland and the company is on the island. To me, I feel like you are out of it, because in terms of distance proximity, you are far from the company. So don't even let them cut you off before they even get to speak to you. So keep it very, generic. Lagos, Nigeria. Abuja, Nigeria. Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Don't talk about your address, please. You don't need that on your resume. And lastly is attach a link to your LinkedIn profile. So these are major contact information. And yes, your first name and your last name. First name first, last name then follows. This is pretty much what you should have on your resume in terms of the contact information. Also, you should have a summary, or sometimes they call it career objective or a summary. For me, I don't have it on my resume and I get into various interviews. But an entry-level PM, you might want to have it because you don't really have much to say about your experience. You want to have a catchy. So for me, let me give an instance why you should have a unique. And please try to avoid using generic career objective. Aspiring product manager. People have it. It is a generic statement. You are not different from others. Thousands of others that applied for the same job. So don't use generic words. When I go for interviews and the first thing I tell recruiter is, hi, I know they already know my name. I know they already know where I worked. I know they've gone through my resume. They know things I've accomplished. But I start with statement like, words like, I've spent 8 years studying engineering. And they'll be like, 8 years, did you have a career over what? I said, no. I went to the Polytechnic, did engineering before I came for my BSc. And, oh, wow. That's a point, like a first point of conversation. Oh, how you studied engineering for 8 years. Well, how was the experience like? What did you do all through those period? All of that. While they ask the first question of, tell me about yourself, I've given them a catchy background about me. And they were like, sometimes I said that, okay, while I was, early into this, tech space, I was unsure on what I want to do. Product was my calling because I love to, collaborate, lead teams, cross-functional alignment, all of that. So just try to have something really dynamic, something unique. Don't be generic. Don't use the same format others are using. So if you don't have something unique, please just save yourself that stress of wasting valuable space on your resume. But if you have something unique, something that's catchy about you, you can have it there. Now, also the work experience. This is where you talk about your previous work experience. And I'll talk a brief about those that don't have a background in product management. So if you perhaps you are someone that you just want to go into the space of product management, you have no background working as a PM. What you could do is this. They call something transferable skill set. We would go to that part of how you get to highlight your achievements. But I'm saying this for probably someone they call that they are new into product management. Don't feel bad. Don't feel disappointed. There's always transferable experience you could tailor that aligns with product management. So it's about how you can think. So I said earlier that content is key. Aesthetics is just waste of effort. Don't focus on design, focus on content. Also, skill sets. You want to be sure that your resume, you would have certain, when you see certain openings, job openings, they are going to highlight certain skill sets that they are expecting from applicants. Or let's say market research, documentation, API testing, product strategy, road mapping. Make sure you note down these skill sets and have them on your resume. So on the skill section of the resume, highlight those skill sets that are on the opening for that job. Also, education, very important. You want to talk about what you studied, where you studied, and things you did. You could be a 2-1 graduate. There's a way you can you can beautify that accomplishment. I finished as one of the top 5 best students in my class. So probably you are just a first class graduate, but you being a 2-1, probably in terms of ranking, you're among the top 5% or top 10%. You can have it in your resume, or you got an award of excellent leadership. leadership is one important skill set in products. If you can talk about leadership experience or what you've gotten in school, it makes more sense to the recruiter. And lastly, is projects that you've worked on. For those that have worked on case studies, or probably you worked pro bono with a company, or you took on certain jobs with a friend and it was probably pro bono, it wasn't paid. So you can have this experience on that project. So this typically, global standard in terms of resume structure. Let me move to the next slide. So here's a sample summary objective. Here's a person with over 7 years experience, and they said innovative, self-motivated product account manager. Now, because he has worked as a PM for 7 years, he has been able to streamline his expertise in product account management. Some persons is data product management. Some persons it could be technical product management. Some it could be result-driven product management. So there are different verticals in the product space. So because he has spent 7 years in the product management career, he can streamline his expertise into product account management with 7+ years experience of success in product development, brand. So you can see how this is a first impression of, wow, this is a great product leader. And as a recruiter, I'll be like, I need to get across to this person. He has just his mail, his phone number, San Francisco, CA. He wasn't going too deep into details. So this is a summary, this is a sample summary objective. Let me think for an associate, product manager. You could have something like, customer focused product manager with a strong interest or expertise or experience in technical background and market survey, dedicated to crafting user-centric solutions that drive business growth, aiming to lead cross-functional team. You can see the word aiming because you're an associate, intending product manager. So pretty much ensure it's just a 3-liner summary objective. You go too deep into things you are looking forward to. And lastly is that you don't use generic words. Also to sum it up is that career objective is something that you should avoid just having same career objective for different job application. If I'm trying to apply for a fintech product manager role, I would be sure to put in things like finance, financial management, expense management as my interests. If perhaps I'm going into blockchain, I need to put specific keyword that aligns with the blockchain industry on my career objective. So that's why it's going to be dynamic. So let them have the feeling of this is a good fit for the role. I think I still have more slides and I'm still far behind. Now, let me now go into, I'm pretty sure when it comes to the header, we are clear on how we can go about with the header. Some objective, we know how to do that now. Then let's go to work experience. This is very tricky. Let me say again, it's a very tricky area because people often make a mistake of writing their role instead of writing their accomplishments. Under work experience, 1, use descriptive resume adjective. Use quantifiable results. Mention relevant awards. Know difference between achievement and responsibilities, and use powerful keywords for your resume. Let me go back to this job opening. If you look at the second bulletin point, they said someone that can drive and manage delivery of product as directed by product managers. If I have a product management background, I can say drove the execution of so feature, which led to 30% increase in revenue over 6 months. Don't know if that makes sense. I want to write accomplishments according to each of these bulletin points. Second is, okay, perform research, execute and track product line strategy. I can say executed product line strategy across different product line on so feature which led to 40% increase in customer engagement across all product line. You can see that I'm talking about my accomplishment that relates with what they're looking for that role. Please, does that make any sense? I hope you can hear me clearly, because these are very important things you have to consider while trying to. Honestly, it's
100%.
it's
100%.
it's time consuming applying for jobs. So I'm saying this things to make you feel like you don't just waste time applying for multiple jobs. It's like you are placing a call. I said earlier to rejection. Oh, rejection, please, I've missed you. Please come to my DM, come to my mail. You can just have it as applying to just 2 jobs in a week if you really want to get a recruiter to get back to you. Because you have to first understand the job description, optimize your resume, tailor it towards the job you're applying for, and do a lot of keyword optimization. Now, this is a sample format for writing your achievements. So you don't just write drive execution of product line for the company. That's a job description. That's not accomplishment. Any PM can do that. That's what you are being paid to do as a PM. And same goes for other roles. It could be a data analyst, it could be a teacher, anything you do. Don't talk about your roles, talk about your accomplishments. You can see a sample once. He said, implemented lucrative strategies resulting in 39% revenue boost for 20 plus clients. I hope this makes a lot of sense because the person used active words. He never said implementing or I implemented. They are all passive. I am leading. It sounds a lot passive. You want to use active words, actionable words like led, re-strategized, led the revamp, spearheaded. These are active words. Don't use passive words like spearheading. Recruiter will be like, oh, this person is just starting to do all of these things. You haven't done it successfully. So he said implemented. These are very cautious things that you need to take note of while trying to draft out your resume. Be descriptive, use quantifiable results. They call the format STAR approach: situation, task, what's it called? Action, then results. There's one they call CAR approach. You talk about the challenge, the action you took, and what were the results after you took those actions. But for me, I love you keep it a lot simple with the XYZ approach. Or sometimes you can just start with, an active verb, led. Then you talk about what you did. Then you talk about the results. These are very important things you should take note of. And use powerful keywords. And I gave an insight when I spoke about this particular job opening that I have here. They're looking for someone that can, perform research and execute and track product line strategy. Then in my accomplishments, I'll talk about what I did in line with that particular job or that requirement. So please don't talk more about the role or the job description. Talk about your achievement, because as I said again, a recruiter will spend less than a minute looking at your resume. They don't go too deep into details. It's when you now get to the interview stage, they now try to now look at every single word in your resume. So just try to put in relevant information that aligns with what the company wants. I wouldn't dwell too much on this. This is 5:48. Time is fast spent. So key skills to include. This is a list of top 10 skills to add to a software product manager resume. Product strategy, agile methodology. This is very important. If you really don't know how to implement agile, you should not even consider doing product, because this is the process that we use in delivering products across the product life cycle. User research, data analysis, project management, communication and collaboration, stakeholder management, technical knowledge, business acumen. So you should have a very strong background or domain knowledge in business analysis. And lastly is leadership. Now, look critically on these top 10 skills. If I happen to be a project manager in a firm, it could be like a core construction firm. I can talk about, my collaborative skill set, how it has improved the company in terms of growth on my resume, even though I have no professional experience working as a PM. I can talk about my communication skill sets, how, due to effective communication, I've been able to help, motivate team, drive empathy across, how the team gets to work. There are different things you could just put in a resume that aligns with some of these top 10 skill sets that a PM should have. So this is a list of key skill sets that you should have in your resume. I don't want to go too deep into this. This is very direct. Also, I spoke earlier about the power of keywords, and that's because of the applicant tracking system. It's an automated process. While you apply for jobs, sometimes you see that when you apply for jobs, in less than one day, you get feedback that, oh, sorry, or thank you for your interest. And that's one of the most heartbreaking mail you could get. When you apply and you just say thank you or sorry, we've moved on with, can be very mentally frustrating. But this is the work of applicant tracking system. It would help manage candidates profile, handle recruitment process. They use it for posting jobs automatically to different job listing platforms, and it's automatically score candidates. So if we have 1,000 applicants for a job, the ATS would screen and rank the top 10 or the top 20 without any human involvement. So that's why you don't play with the use of keywords. Ensure that you have it fully optimized so you can go ahead with scaling through the applicant tracking system process. Then we move into common mistakes that people make while trying to draft a resume. Sometimes it's bad grammar, and that's why I said content is key. You should be sure that you use the right set of words. There are certain AI tools you could use. You can use ChatGPT. You might just want to draft out a sample accomplishments, then you put on ChatGPT. I please rephrase this word to sound professional for a job application. GPT will do the magic. Trust me. There's a tool called One Sorting AI. It's called One Sorting AI. It's a magical tool. Just put in what you did. It could just be your role, and it will automatically rephrase it to accomplishments. There are different tools you could use to optimize the resume. You don't need to spend time doing it all by yourself. There are quite a number of tools that have been built to help you optimize the resume. So ensure you use tools to track, bad grammar. Ensure it is well formatted. Don't have it too long. If you have less than 4 years experience in a particular role, your resume should not be more than a page. If it's more than a page, I assure you that you've added irrelevant information about your resume. Currently, my resume is just a pager. I use the pager resume, and I can tell you that I get into interviews, really well. So it's not about how much pages of your resume is, but it's about the content and optimization. So ensure you have the appropriate email address. Don't put references, honestly. It's not a good practice. Also, try to put the right these are just common mistakes. So it's the inverse of what they are saying. So putting references is a bad practice. Not telling a resume to that particular role is a bad practice. Putting the wrong contact information. I said that earlier. For Nigerian, recruiters, the first thing that they will call you directly, then ask you that, I saw we got your application. What will you be free to have a call with a hiring manager? Oh, hi Tola, thanks for reaching out. You can block me for Tuesday 4 p.m. for the interview, and that's the way discussion would go. Then lastly, is don't exaggerate the truth. It's one thing to scale through the applicant tracking system, and it's another thing to defend what you have on your resume. Please don't over exaggerate the truth. Be sincere, but ensure that you are professional, you sound professional, and you project yourself as a good fit for the role. But don't tell lies, because to get to a point where you need to now talk to the HR, the hiring manager, and they'll start asking you questions. If you can't defend those questions, sorry, you're just closer to getting a rejection. So here's a sneak peek of common mistakes. Too much bolding, inconsistent formatting, sloppy phrasing. So let me move to the next slide. Resume writing tips. So yes, basically ensuring that you use concise languages. and bulletin points readability. For each of the work experience you are trying to put on your resume, please don't make it more than 4 bulletin points per company. Once it's more than 4 bulletin points, please, you're already writing, you're already writing epistle, and you don't want to put that on your resume because recruiters will not read it, trust me. So just put in your top 3 accomplishments for each company, then move to the next company. So that's just it. Quantify your achievements whenever possible to demonstrate impact. So these are things that are very relatable. I've gone deep into some of these areas earlier on the call. I'm trying to see how I can go a lot faster because it's almost 6. Sorry, I've taken too much of your time. So here sample product manager resume. I'll not really go deep into this. So resources. Now let us now go a bit practical. I would share my screen to run you through what my resume currently looks like. Let me just do that real quick. So here's my resume. Sorry, can you see it? Let me start from skills and tools. You can see, and these skills and tools, I change them intermittently according to the jobs I'm applying for. So some companies will tell you that proficiency with Jira. So if a company is putting proficiency in Asana or proficiency in Trello, I will not put Jira there because they will definitely use Asana as a keyword tracking tool for the resume on the applicant tracking system. So go through the skills required and have them under this session. Education, I went to Polytechnic, but trust me, I don't have it here because it will just take irrelevant space. And trust me, as a tech applicant, your educational background is not something that would impress them. So just put in your topmost, educational, accomplishments and just have it there. So if you can put in relevant coursework, I did computer engineering and it aligns with, software. So courses like database management, operating system, networking, algorithm and data structure, AI, these are relevant coursework that relates with, core tech. And that's why I have it on my resume. So they'll be like, oh, you have a background in all of these things. Oh, yes, I do. Even though I'm not really too deep into it, but at least to a great level of conversational, engagement, I can relate with engineers on any of these areas. Now, let's move into work experience. And here's where the real work is. Because currently I work at Bondo, so I'm not using ActiveWare because I'm still implementing some of these things and there isn't too much result to speak for. But companies we are already left. So you can see that I use words like spearheaded the successful rebranding efforts from Great to Great Finance, which included the launch of the multi-currency feature and payment feature, resulting in 30% increase in user acquisition. So here is more like an active word, what I did and the results. So I spoke about, implemented agile product methodology to streamline collaboration among the cross-functional team, resulting in 20% increase in productivity. So you can see that most of these bulletin points, I'm putting quantitative achievements or things I've accomplished when I was, working with those companies. So you can see here for Sabi, I said, I led the architect's efforts of the ARP tool, which improved engagement by 25% and all of that. So try to ensure that you have quantifiable, accomplishments that recruiters can see and be sure that you're a good fit for the role. Then lastly for me, I would say is that ensure it's a page, ensure you stick with 1 column. There are certain resume templates that they are usually designed in 2 columns. Please avoid those kind of content or those kind of templates. They are just distractions. Focus more on content. Also, after drafting a resume, ensure you share with your friends to review. Honestly, this is a very good practice. Resume, share with your friends, they would have feedbacks. And be sure that you are sharing with a senior person that it's into that role you are trying to apply for. So they can, with their experience and level of exposure, they can tell you things you should improve on. And also would be that try to, tell a story about things you've done using your career objective and, the bulletin points on where you work. And lastly would be that you can attach relevant links where possible because you don't want recruiters to want to text you again that, okay, send your portfolio. So your profile, your LinkedIn profile link, your project portfolio, sample case study link, have it on your resume. So don't try to have recruiters to get back to you to send those details. So I think I'll just have it here. Although there's still quite a lot to share, but I think I've spoke about major things that should be considered while trying to draft a resume. So yeah, thank you. That will be it for me.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sure we all enjoyed that session a lot. So I'll be taking just I'll be taking just 3 questions before we end the call. So if you have a question, please raise up your hand. So and I'll be taking the counting once. So anybody? Or does nobody has any question? Okay. So with nobody having any question, okay, Morani KG, you can ask your question. Just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening.
Wa
Please, I
alaikum
don't know
salam wa
maybe
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I don't know maybe you can explain better on the too much loading, like the common mistakes make on resumes. I don't know if you can explain more on that too much loading. I don't quite understand.
All right, I got
On
that.
one of the pictures is sent.
All right, got the question very clear.
Okay, we'll answer. You can talk now. She has asked the question.
All right. So majorly, let me try to share my screen again so you can see a sample mistake that the person did while trying to draft the resume. Let me go back to that. Yeah. So you can see here that look at the work experience. I don't know if my screen is bold enough. You can see the work experience session. You can only bold in the company name and your role, because this is a major focal point of attraction. So when you now overbolding your bulletin points, it sometimes get the recruiter distracted. Or you can see that technical skill sets, they are all bolding. It doesn't really align with the format this person is working with. So try to ensure that you only bolding really specific and catchy things you want recruiters to take note of on your resume. So don't just overbolding unnecessary information so you don't lose traction of recruiters focusing on things that are irrelevant on your resume over things that are relevant. I hope it's very clear now.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Somebody else has a question. You can ask your question now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So,
Wa alaikum salam wa
I
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
came in late, so I just want to ask this question. Let's assume we are coming from a totally different background from product management, from anything that has to do with IT at all. Let's assume that you're a doctor and you want to get into PM. You don't have any experience whatsoever in PM or anything that has to do with tech. How do you suggest that kind of person structure their resume? Thank you.
All right, I'm coming. I have a sample resume of someone without a PM background, and she secured a role in Microsoft. Coming. Oh, I'm yet to. I would add that resume to the resource session on the presentation, and I'll be shared with everyone. So let me just briefly go to what a sample resume would look like. I might just share on the MIP platform after the call. Are you on the platform so you can just get to view it? So this person secured a role at Microsoft without working as a product manager. So what she did was that, she was majorly a video content creator. She has an active page on YouTube. She has taken certain consultancy role on helping people secure admission in institutions. She has also worked on certain projects, case studies. So she was able to highlight or project some of the work she has done, and that landed her an interview, and she was able to defend herself and getting an associate PM role at is it Microsoft, or I can't recollect, one of the the big five, the FANG. So I'll go back to what I said earlier. Ensure you highlight transferable skills or experience that relates with product management. So take, for instance, let me give context to volunteering. Let's say I happen to be like the vice president of my faculty or my department. You want to talk about how you've been able to influence decisions and the result that came after the actions you took. So talk about um you know what you did, the challenges, what you did, and the result that came out of it. Just ensure that things you're talking about relates with product management. If you have a data analyst background, data analysis is very important in terms of product management. Your ability to analyze data and make informed decisions. If you talk about it in your resume, it aligns with product management. If you are a project manager, ability to manage costs, ability to work with timelines, ability to collaborate with people, ability to communicate, reports. These are things that aligns with product management. Have it tailored in your resume, and it would give you a high chance over someone that is writing things that are contrary to what a PM would end up doing. I hope that answers that. So just think deeply about transferable skill sets, have it in resume, and I tell you that you are going to. When I secured my first product manager role, I never had experience as a product manager. I never worked on any case study. I never worked on any project. And like I'm really saying this, and I secured a role as a product manager intern. So it's not about what you've done, but how you can think about things you've done that relates to product management.
Yeah, thank you for that. Does anybody still have any message? Does anybody still have any question? So no, but I don't think anybody has. So just for more context, you can check back this recording on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel that we post all our sessions. And to answer more on your question, I did talk some more. So even if you missed it, you can just watch back from the beginning and you'll surely get how to go about it. And if you are not yet on the community, please reach out to somebody or check our social media pages or any one way or the other so that you can join the community. It is very, very nice for somebody aspiring to be a product manager. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of today's meeting, today's workshop, and I'm happy that we all joined. May Allah make it a wonderful and knowledge-based experience for us. I mean, make us be able to put this knowledge into very, very good use. So let's just remember when next we are coming for our workshop or webinar, let's make sure that we tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's make sure that we bring one person with us so that they can all enjoy this wonderful session. I'm sure that everybody here, whether you're a product manager or not, you enjoy this session. And not only for product management, the laws and everything mentioned here, you can apply to basically any role you ever want to apply for. So let's make sure that we make use of this opportunity very, very well. So, and let's not forget, please follow us on all our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and join the community. So thank you all for today. It was nice meeting you. It's nice seeing you all, and catch you all another time. Thank you. Bye. Salam.